Man, no one says that anymore. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 out-of-date slang sayings.
Gee whiz, Mary Sue, why can't I borrow your transistor radio?
For this list, we're ranking the most passe and outdated sayings or phrases that were previously part of everyday conversation. Slang from all decades will be considered, as long as the phrases in question were, at one time or another, commonly used and considered popular.
Jim? No thanks, I'm good.
That's what she said.
Number 10, duh. Although Merriam-Webster's dictionary lists 1943 as the first known use of the phrase duh in our common language, many folks probably remember first hearing it spoken in context back in the late 80s and 90s.
Do you love him? Duh.
Duh can be used either to refer to someone's own mistakes or to address stupidity in others, specifically someone pointing out something obvious. But to be honest, you just don't hear it used as often anymore.
Duh!
That's a clever retort. That's a clever retort. Duh!
Maybe it's because duh came to be seen as rather rude and childish, or because of the rise of the term and action facepalm, which at least partially serves a similar purpose. Either way, its usage as an insult or statement seems to have fallen by the wayside in the 21st century. Duh.
You were at my birthday party.
No, duh!
Number 9, bogus.
Bogus.
The word bogus may still be used today to describe something that is either of poor quality or unappealing, but the use of this word as a slang saying is probably more associated with Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan.
Execute them. Bogus.
And they're not exactly representative of the modern day youth in the 2000s and beyond. The popularity of bogus was probably highest back in the 90s and used as a cool way of expressing one's displeasure at their situation, or against someone else's totally heinous nature.
And I'm up for hemorrhoid cream ad next week. I know it sounds kind of bogus, but I get to do some acting.
The heyday of bogus may be over, but at least we'll always have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey as a reminder of what once was. And who knows, maybe the long-awaited threequel will give it a new lease on life.
So if we don't get some cool rules ourselves, pronto, we'll just be bogus too. Yeah?
Number 8, Bling Bling. The next slang phrase on our list was so nice, they said it twice.
Ling Ling, you forgot your bling bling.
Bling Bling rose to prominence during the early millennium as a means of expressing one's flashy sense of self-worth via the wearing of expensive, eye-catching, and often gaudy jewelry.
Chandra, you fail to realize that putting together this entire operation has been quite expensive.
Bling bling.
It wasn't all that uncommon to hear one person commenting on how another was bringing out the bling bling for a night on the town, especially in the hip-hop community, where the term quickly gained acceptance and prominence.
You know, in America it's bling bling, but out here it's bling bang, huh?
These days, however, the phrase has been shortened to just bling, effectively putting to rest the former spot as a once popular form of slang. Number 7, hella. Have you ever heard the phrase hell of a lot? Have you ever wondered how to shorten down all those nagging words into one simple saying? Well, then look no further than hella, a word that rose to prominence over on the West Coast, specifically the San Francisco Bay Area back in the 1970s.
Remember that microwave popcorn you bought a while back?
Hella good.
Yeah.
Cool kids on the eastern seaboard could be forgiven for being ignorant of this once popular slang phrase, which was used as a modifying intensifier when referring to one's mood or status.
You guys are hella stupid. You guys are hella lame. You guys are hella dumb. Hella, hella, hella.
Whether you were feeling hella good, hella bad, or hella hungry, it seemed as if nothing could stop this word from achieving supreme slang status. But these days, the frequency with which it's used has dropped to hella low.
Do people still say that?
Number 6, all that and a bag of chips. Here's a question, what's better than being good? The answer, all that. What's even better? Being all that and a bag of chips.
You ain't all that and a bag of potato chips.
If this slang phrase seems foreign to you, then you probably didn't grow up in the 90s, when this phrase was all the rage among teens and young adults.
I want to invent a catchphrase. Something as profound as all that and a bag of chips.
Although referring to someone as being all that didn't always necessarily have to include said bag of chips to be used as a compliment, the full phrase was usually reserved for someone totally awesome and at the top of the social food chain.
I've never said this to a girl before, but oh, baby, you all that in a bag of chips!
These days, however, it doesn't matter whether being all that includes chips, drink, or a soda. The phrase has seen its day come and go. Number 5, talk to the hand. Searching for a much longer and more demonstrative way to tell someone who's annoying you to shut up? Well, then look no further than the very 90s slang phrase, talk to the hand.
As the kids are saying today, talk to the hand.
They're not saying that.
Wordy as it is already, it's actually a shortened version of the phrase talk to the hand because the ears or face ain't listening, and is often accompanied by the physical gesture of holding a flattened palm towards the offending party.
Talk to the hand, because the face don't want to hear it anymore.
What hand?
Talk to the hand arguably reached its pop culture zenith when action star Arnold Schwarzenegger used it in the second sequel to James Cameron's classic sci-fi film, The Terminator.
Hey, are you gonna pay for that?
Talk to the hand.
Today, the phrase is very rarely used other than in certain nostalgic or satirical situations. Number 4, Cowabunga. You have those heroes on a half shell, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to thank for popularizing this radical catchphrase back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Cowabunga? Cowabunga!
Though the massive success of their first animated television show played a pivotal role in bringing the term to the masses, Cowabunga actually has a much longer history. Its first widespread introduction was on the 1950 show Howdy Doody. Surfers from the West Coast then incorporated the word into their culture during the 1960s as an expression of excitement and approval. Who are we kidding though? It's Donnie, Raph, Leo, and Mikey who are probably the most famous purveyors of the almighty Cowabunga. And that's the way it will most likely remain.
Gee, Michelangelo, I didn't know you could drive. Oh, I can! Cowabunga!
Number 3, gnarly. This slang term is another word whose meaning may have shifted over time as younger people adopt the phrase for different meanings.
And here is the human heart, which you can see is actually located in the center of your chest.
Oh, gnarly!
Though the term gnarly first gained popularity during 70s surfer culture, it later gained steam again during, you guessed it, the 1990s as a way of expressing the extent of another's technical skill or achievements.
Dude, that's so genius!
Dude, there's no way. This is way too gnarly.
This was used primarily within the extreme sports styles of skate or snowboarding, while more recent years have seen gnarly used mainly to describe a wound or injury with an unappealing appearance. Still, those who were kick-flipping and catching air in the oh-so-radical 90s remember what gnarly used to mean to an entire generation.
A silent G as in gnome. Or gnarly.
Number 2, swell. Okay, you may be forgiven for thinking we're referring to a swollen part of the body when describing this next slang term, but we're thinking more of swell in its old-school 1950s iteration. Namely, a peachy keen way of saying something is good.
Listen, you were swell.
Swell may be used rarely today in this fashion, but at one time it was one of the go-to words to offer up a compliment.
How's my credit in this joint anyway?
Your credit's fine, Mr. Torrance.
That's swell.
The 21st century may have seen a sharp decline in the use of swell as anything other than a medical verb, or to describe waves when surfing, but this slang term had a nice long life back in its day.
Say, it works swell.
I think we should bring these back. What about you guys? Not. No, but seriously, some of them are okay. If someone said talk to the hand to me today, I would not know how to react. Anyway, before we name our most boss out-of-date slang saying, people still say boss, right? Here are some honorable mentions.
Hang 10 Bap is like totally rad, dude.
God damn, you a one radical son of a bitch.
Just moved here.
From where?
Los Angeles. LA?
Oh, dude. Tubular.
Oh, Lil' Kim. She's fat. PH, fat.
It really was Monzo Bizarro. Please, when she ran out into the court in the middle of the game, was it the most out of a thing ever, or did I blink?
Look, without a taste test, how are we supposed to know which flavours we like to reorder?
Taste test? I'm in.
YOLO! What? It's a thing. It means you only live once.
Yeah, we're aware of what it means, Oscar. You just do not look cool saying it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Groovy. Is there any slang saying that is more indicative of the decade in which it was used? The word groovy for many encapsulated the fashion, music, and culture of the 1960s, give or take a bit of the late 50s and early 70s, to the point where it's often used right alongside the decade as a descriptive adjective.
I want you to meet some very, very groovy people.
These days, groovy is primarily used to describe something or someone connected with 1960s culture, with very few people using it in their modern-day vocabulary.
Say one more hipster thing, and I'm gonna shove you in your vintage bassoon case.
Although, that being said, we can think of one famous horror movie character who's kept the word groovy alive and in the cultural lexicon over the years. Take a bow, Ash Williams. We love ya.
Groovy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.